chatão, fica de cotão, entre vai saindo rapidão, toma socadão, rodadão lá dentro.
Hello, and yes, I have the skill sets to answer this question. I have talked to women in my time, not many, but in my time, I have had my fair share of interactions. I feel like I could recite the textbook do's and don'ts at the very least. And I hate the tutorials up on YouTube now, so I feel like they expect a lot from a single person. Whatever. First things first, do not be desperate. You don't need one. This video is for people who are happy being alone and all that. Like, subscribe. So, number one issue is catalog. Bro, sometimes at school the quality is just not there. Your options need to be vast. Not in terms of targets, but just in terms of women in general. Honestly, people in general. Every connection is another chance. I realize this is a very male-targeted video. I'm sorry, females. Your video will be out soon. For example, in the summer, you could be wasting valuable time not in an environment surrounded by people, especially if you want to get a girlfriend anytime soon. Are you still going to get random chances? Yes, but they will come at, well, random points in your life. Maximizing the possibility of random chances happening is super important. All this means is you gotta do something other than school. A friend group outside school, a sports team, a club, anything that gives you time with people. 9 times out of 10, you ain't finding one on Reddit, bro. Online is just not the way to go. Whoa. I feel like once you can get Tinder, Hinge, okay, have them running on the side, but they cannot be main sources of chances. Once one graduates school, it becomes harder, but it's the same principle. Even just going for regular walks, being outside. I'll use an example. In the summer, I basically did nothing outside. I left my house a maximum of 2 times every day. It's kind of sad. Maybe a max of like 4 friend hangouts. So that is a very limited amount of time where something can happen. Okay, what were those 2 times though? The gym and soccer practice. Yeah, nothing else. Those are probably the 2 worst places. Soccer practice is basically 0 chance. At best, maybe a connection with one of the players leads to a female sibling or something in the future. But I had none of that. So where did something happen just because it could happen? The gym. A girl asked for my number. It didn't work out in the end, but for somebody who has no chances because he does nothing himself, that was a big moment. So you gotta be in places for things to happen that aren't your own house. Don't think you need a bunch of male friends for connections, no, because it's your closest friends that can probably harbor the biggest opportunities. And that sounded way too intellectual. Super important as well, be the best looking you can be. I know there's this looks maxing culture, but like, there is some merit to looking your best. Look in the mirror, see what you're not doing. Make sure you have good hair, drip, facial routines, hygiene, smell, weight, etc. Ask people you know, because trust me, they have an opinion on the matter. Sometimes judgmental people can help you. Keep in mind, this is just for manifesting random opportunities, maximizing the chances that you get lucky. I haven't even talked about doing it yourself. Alright, top thing you gotta do, pick your target. Instagram follow spree and Snapchat quick ad, not the method. First thing is pick your target. You see how being in plenty of public situations can benefit this. Pick a target that you would go for. Honestly, best thing is to tell somebody about it. It makes it real. Just make sure you tell somebody you trust and could possibly give some good advice. Then, it's strategy time. Obviously, cold approach is on the table, but if you click on this video, that's probably not the way to go. Slow and steady wins the race. Pick the target and find info. What's the best way to even say anything to her on DMs, or if plausible even in person? Work is usually a go-to, but if you don't share any classes or replying to stories or notes could work. Honestly, a mutual friend is huge. Anything along those lines could work. Man, a lot of work. The best thing about DMs, in my opinion, is you can smell out a possible indirect rejection just by the way she texts. How she responds, period in between responses, etc. The thing is, with getting into places other than school, to find a target is quite hard. Anything you enjoy could be incredibly useful to getting you into a community that you fit into and can find somebody. Although that is very broad, I don't know. You can comment if you want. If you're not willing to, or even look at anything I said, you better hope random chances come in clutch. I realize I'm focusing a lot on school, so to all those people with jobs still searching up this video, kind of expected the youth to kind of come here, but realistically the same rules apply. If there's just no possible place to find a target, wait. Give it time. Sometimes random chance is the way to go because the scattering reports are just not seeing something. Before talking, okay, actually texting them. Texting them is good because you can think about what you're saying in advance. Most important thing, no disrespect. You'd be surprised how much the humor you use with your friends will completely miss if you've only been talking to her for a bit. I like to think of it as 4 clauses. The main clause. Whatever you are responding to, assuming you've already started talking to her, you say something in direct response. Sometimes it could just be a yeah. Luckily, the addition clause. You have the main clause and add something at the end of your message to encourage a response. For example, yeah, especially when, but there's also the 2.5. Yes, there's a 2.5, an extension to the addition clause. The pivot clause is probably one of the most important clauses to be able to pivot from one topic to another. There's the transitional pivot and the aggressive pivot. Going from music to concerts would be transitional, while aggressive would be going from music to politics. Just as an example. I mean, who would do that? Both pivots are useful from time to time. Sometimes it's getting dry and then all of a sudden, boom, transition to another topic. This is why knowing a good amount about her prior is important. Just, stalking is not illegal. Well, it shouldn't be. The recovery. When you inevitably say something that triggers something, this is a very important clause. Apologies can work, but you gotta give her a reason to keep talking to you. Maybe if you insult her music taste, you insult your own as well. A simpler recovery when usually it's not that simple, but a very important clause to remember when you think all is lost. The best advice I can give for talking is, wait. Mister, I thought you said there were 4 clauses. Oh, yes, how could I forget that? Now, I could make a whole video on the termination clause. The long and short of it is, if you find that you have enough reason to leave within the first weeks, do it. Trust me, the earlier you realize that it won't work, the less it will hurt for both parties. And you can do it via text. The criteria to break up with someone when you're past the early stages is what my next video is going to be about. Let me write that down. Best advice I can give for talking is to plan the first thing you're going to say and hope for the best from there. The problem with starting with texting is trying to talk to her in person somehow becomes more awkward. Just ask her, trust me, it's probably better, but if you are starting in person, I still think my advice stands. You cannot predict what you're going to say, but just hope it's good. You're expecting me to say just be yourself, which is probably the worst advice ever. There's no constructive criticism and it gets you nowhere. Think about what you're going to say first, and then you'll kind of be in that flow state. Worst case, you suddenly have to go to the washroom. Don't overthink, just be yourself either. Do not try to be somebody you're not. I know sometimes text does that. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes tactical lies are necessary, but don't overdo it. More of the story. All the stuff you might see about proximity was not a lie, but I know you just looked over her because it was very broad. It insinuates that there is somebody to be close to. Actual moral of the story. Focus on self, do things, friends, connections, groups, surround self with opportunities, random chances, if tired, out waiting, decide target, texting clauses, plan first thing to say, hope for the best, don't be afraid to ask questions, like and subscribe.